Smoking Peterson Handmade, a house pipe with a P-lip, which not a big innovation if you ask me. Supposed to keep the smoke circulating and not just go to the tongue. Maybe to give you a smoother smoke, I don't know. Gimmick. I have this exact same pipe in a what they call a fishtail, which is a normal horizontal bit, a saddle bit, and I like it better. I really didn't like this before I put the vinyl tubing on to have something to grip. Man, there was just like nothing to grip there. So, teach their own. But yeah, I love the rustication. And the size of the pipe too, it's like 2 1/4 inches tall. For me, pipe size, I just like a bigger pipe. I mean, I'm a big guy, so it looks like I'm smoking a mini pipe. You know, if I smoke what back in the 60s and 70s was considered normal, you know, those old K Woodies and so forth that are about 1.5 inches high. They're just kind of too small of scale for me. So, and people will say, oh, well, I could never smoke that much tobacco in a single sitting. Well, don't, you know, just load it halfway. Load it a quarter way and have a nice small bowl. But it gives you that option. So if you loaded it full, sure enough, you'd probably have a 45-minute, hour smoke. But you can only load it halfway and have that much shorter smoke. And they burn nice because they have that chimney effect. You know, that billiard shape really burns well. Tall, thin chamber, I think, does a really good job that way. Okay, let's do a relight. Smoking some HH Acadian Perique from MacBaren. Nice ribbon cut. Variety of things going on there. This is courtesy of my friend Mark. And I really appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate you sharing it. Absolutely. They give like a little slider gauge here, and I've never really read up on that, what they're trying to do there. But you know, that is so accurate. It's like a 6 out of a 10 in strength and kind of in flavor. There is quite a bit of Perique. I'll read the description there because it's pretty informative, really. Is it really true? I don't know. Smoking up in the guest house. I don't normally do this, but just kind of felt right. Plus, it's early enough. There's some traffic out on the highway, so you can probably hear it. The sizzle of tires on pavement. So, this blend includes Virginias, Burleys, original Cavendish, which is, who knows what it is quite likely a Burley, with a sugar topping and then pressed, or, you know, Cavendish is one of those things that is a very loose definition as far as I can tell. Sometimes it refers to the cut, interestingly enough, a Cavendish cut. Other time, which is kind of a square cut, seems like. But for me, when somebody says Cavendish, they're really talking a sugar-topped, usually burley blend that's aged in a bale, you know, pressed. So that's what Cavendish means to me. Dark-fired Kentucky, Orientals, and of course a fair amount of Acadian Perique. The HH Acadian Perique has no top flavor at all, which means that you will enjoy the tobacco taste. True. When smoked, you will experience no tongue bite. It's pretty true. And this blend will smoke to the bottom, leaving only gray ashes. Ideally, every tobacco would do that. A lot of aromatic addicts don't. It is a rich, flavorful, and very satisfying smoke. I should say rich and flavorful if you like Perique. That kind of peppery quality that Perique has. You gotta like it, because this has quite a bit in it. I smoke straight Perique. I have a little tin of that I got from McClellan, just to try it. And it's as a blending tobacco, they sell it. It's pretty, it's different. I mean, it's definitely, you recognize it. It isn't, is it peppery? I guess that's the closest word you could use to describe it. For all that's going on here, tobacco-wise, all the different tobaccos, I don't find it amazingly complex. Like complex in the rich, multi-layered flavors. I don't. I think my overriding impression is that it is okay, a 6 out of 10, because it's got a little kick to it, flavor-wise. Nicotine-wise, I don't know. There's a little nicotine going on there too, I think. A little nick hit. But it's not real deep. You know, it's more mid-range with a little sour edge to it, maybe. And then there's that Perique that feels kind of spicy on your tongue. Spicy but not buttery. You know, like some curries. I don't know. It's not curry-like. It's enjoyable for something different. This would not be my go-to tobacco. But you need a variety, you know. I can't imagine smoking the same tobacco all the time. But then I smoke for flavor, you know. I mean, some guys, I think, smoke for the nicotine. They smoke, you know, with a pipe, there's just so many elements to the satisfaction of it that it's hard to really pinpoint. But I will say I'm not one of those smokers who smokes for the nicotine. In fact, I find it off-putting. Some of those Dunhill mixtures, they really knock you for a loop, which I don't like. You know, but with pipe smoking, it's all about packing the pipe. There's this ritual that's very relaxing, very satisfying. You know, just like you do anything, if you do it well, you get satisfaction out of it, and no matter what that is. And pipe smoking is definitely one of those things. I find it just utterly relaxing. In fact, if I'm working or doing something else, like I don't smoke and drive usually. I don't even listen to a radio when I drive, though. So I can't even imagine talking on the phone. Certainly can't imagine texting and driving. It's just too distracting, you know. It just takes your mind away from the immediacy of what you're doing into whatever that phone conversation is. You know, you're there and you're leaving your automated mind to do the driving. Well, maybe I'm just a moron and I can't multitask as well as that. But I find it just way too distracting. So, and same with pipe smoking. I would rather concentrate on and enjoy that kind of groove you get into when you're smoking. Whereas the driving would distract me from my pipe smoking. Let's prioritize here. So, Now, talking and conversation, maybe that is a different part of your brain that you're using. Because I find smoking and having a good conversation around the table or whatever, just one of the greatest things I've ever experienced. There's just this really deep, calm satisfaction that comes from that. And the pipe smoking allows you to really, maybe it takes some of that thinking process away from your conversation so that your conversation can focus entirely on the conversation. I don't know. I'm not any kind of psychologist who knows from which side of the brain these activities manifest, but I do know that good conversation with buddies, sitting around smoking, is the greatest thing ever as far as satisfaction goes. So I'll concur with this slider bar right here that shows it as about a 6 out of 10. Worth trying. You know, you might really like it. It's got a certain stoutness to it, but it's not overwhelming. It's not heavy like a lot of Englishes. Can feel kind of heavy and deep, which is perfect when you're in the mood for it. Versus like a real nice Virginia, like a Virginia #1 from MacBaren. That's my favorite Virginia. Which is definitely on the light end, and it's almost sweet to the tongue. I really like that stuff. But maybe that's why I like the Stockabee Balkan Supreme. It's just a nice, so it got some richness and some heaviness to it, but a lot of flavor without being too heavy. That's my go-to tobacco. And to answer a question from somebody, if you had only one tobacco to smoke forevermore, what would that be? It'd probably be that Stockabee Balkan Supreme. Yeah. I almost feel like I should stock up on some more of that, just to have it in case, you know, there's some kind of tobacco laws coming up that are going to restrict interstate commerce or do something like that. So, make it hard to get. Because I really don't see it in my local Puget Sound area pipe shops. That's something I have to order. And the best place I found to order it is Mars Tobacco. So they're the cheapest, and they have that flat rate shipping, and they're great. Yeah. Quick, efficient. Yeah, the pepperiness moderates a little bit as you go down through the bowl. I only did a half bowl. It's morning, I gotta go to work. But, that's good. If you haven't tried one of these Peterson handmade pipes, they're kind of spendy, but they sure are nice. I think they did the Donegal Rocky finish originally so they could hide a lot of flaws. You know, they'd make this finish on pipes that had a lot of fills and stuff, or pits, sand pits. Then they don't have to fill them either. But it just feels so good in your hand. I like the look too, that kind of red, black with red highlights. When we went through the Peterson factory, was that last year? Yeah. in Sallynoggin, we watched them make this finish. Not with a Donegal Rocky. They didn't have any of those in process right at the moment. They didn't really have any handmaids that I can remember. I don't remember. But, you know, they dip it, and then the tech just sticks it on a Bunsen burner and then burns off some of it, and then they apply a different finish. And, yeah, it's interesting way of doing that. They kind of grind off the tops of the little peaks and then do the dip in red. And yeah, neat. So they were right. Baren was right. The Acadian Perique really leaves just gray ash. It's a real dry smoke too. And that's probably helped by this P-lip, I will say. So after a smoke, I just, you know, it's amazing how well a pipe cleaner fits through there. And I'll just kind of run that through. I'll do it twice, one on each end. That's just my technique, you know. And then I fold it in half, like so, and then I run it around the bowl, inside of the bowl. And sometimes it takes a couple of cleaners to do the job. And occasionally I'll leave a pipe cleaner in there to just kind of suck up any residual moisture in the shank. Yeah, like so. You can see the length of the pipe. I mean, it pretty well sucks up a pipe cleaner. So, yeah, that's my way of doing it.